I have got something to say about this Fiji first government. And at last, I will ask few questions. Thank you very much. I must thank you, sir, for carrying a public consultation exercise before budget preparation. And now moving with your ministry on what has been passed by the parliament. The budget on infrastructure spending is excellent, and I am sure that the next 3 generations of this country at least will enjoy a great investment. Just last week, sir, I was at Suba City and taking a walk on this upgraded footpath which have been constructed with good wideness, given a pleasure walk on it. Record economic growth shown that our country is attracting high investment. People are enjoying the personal income tax reliefs below $30,000. Towns are growing, and the councils and government efforts in building better towns is great. My concern is the media. Your presentation today, I am sure, is similar to what would have been yesterday. I am sure if anyone attend this will have a clear picture on where we are going. What concerns me is the way media is twisting and saying things just like in today's radio station. News only read on ministerial responsibilities and not all the other good things that were covered last night. We need, sir, to teach journalists on what and how to report on, as the media needs to act responsibly and be helper in building our country. We all are enjoying the way it is progressing. Through the hard work of our leaders, we cannot allow irresponsible report to damage our nation's development. So, I also would like to thank our government, the Fiji First government, for helping the general public, such as the minister, sir, you have already shown us and already mentioned. A few things I would like to highlight. First, the e-ticketing one. Second, the people over 60 years getting a half fare.
65.
The bus fare.
Oh, no, yeah, bus fare, sorry.
And second one, the 65-year people who get 65 years is getting social welfare assistance. And renewal of leases, this government has given 99 years, and it's a great help for the people, and also help the people whose houses got damaged during the hurricane and the flood season. And also, the last thing, the agriculture scheme, public and the people already enjoyed. Sir, I would like to thank you, sir, for giving us on the budget consultation. Sir, there is my brother is sitting here. He's familiar, very familiar to you people, and he has mentioned me to say something about regarding he is Mr. Kenny Dodoi, the bar rep and Fiji rep. He's the son of late John Nicosia, who was the bar rep and Fiji rep, and he's saying that in last month where Fiji Fest was held in Asori, Ratu the Kampau Park, whereas the ground, the capacity, the stadium was very full, and he's thanking the government and asking for more assistance to be given for the improvement of the soccer in Fiji. Once again, I would like to thank you, sir. And my question here, as I have seen and I heard last week's TV, as you were saying, regarding the people from overseas, they coming to make the film in Fiji. So I just want to know whether if any local person want to make the film, what is the procedure over there? How he can get the help or assistance from the government? In fact, maybe people they're laughing, but I just want to tell you, sir. I myself, I'm a local film director. I'm making the film under Greenwich era, and nearly half of the film has been made. And if you need, I can bring the picture and show it to you. And also, I'm looking forward if the government. Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
There is actually assistance provided. We do have under the Film Fiji provisions. There is a particular mechanism through which you can get assistance. I urge you to look at the law pertaining to that. But we also have a budgetary allocation of about $350,000 to help people who may want to, for example, publish books, who may want to, for example, develop documentaries. You can apply for funding through that. And there's a budgetary allocation for that. And for that, to apply for that fund, you can apply to the Ministry of Communications, and the funding is made available through them. And that's there. And we actually urge people to do that. And you're right. I mean, there are many. We have very little local content. If you turn on the television, there's very little local content. I mean, you have things like Batini Tanoa. You have some of the other local television programs. But we don't have actually that many local documentaries. And in fact, a lot of the so-called local documentaries are made by people from overseas. So we encourage that. So there's actually funding available for that, and I urge you to apply through that. But if you want to make a full film production, as in, like actors and actresses doing that sort of thing, you can also apply through Film Fiji. Okay, thanks.
My name is Avinchan. I'm from Narere. In 2009, I got an accident.
You got, sorry? Accident.
Yes, I won the case in 2017. I'm still running for my money. The judgment is given. I'm holding it. So the problem is here. My bone is broken. I got operation. Everything is done. I'm still running for my money. Even I come to your office, they told me to write the letter to get you.
If you have a judgment from the court, you need the judgment enforced.
Yes.
If somebody is not following the judgment, then you need to get the judgment ruling against them. That's the procedure. I can't interfere with the judicial system.
Yes, I understand it. But I'm running from January until now.
Do you have a lawyer?
Yes.
Well, your lawyer should be doing his job.
He said from the judgment from office from the government, between government.
So who are you claiming against?
Against government.
Which department?
Police force.
Okay.
There was an accident.
Yes.
My rib was broken.
A road accident?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still running for my money until now. I couldn't work for 9 years now.
Okay. We've got a lawyer there sitting in the back. Please give your papers to him.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like I said, if they've got any personal issues, please raise it afterwards. We'll deal with it afterwards, not now. John, see to that, eh? That guy who's bald, give it to him.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Evening.
My name is Sanjay Menon. I'm from Korudiri, Nasori. Thank you very much for coming today and explaining to us about the debt, current debt the government holds. Recently, few political parties came in our area, and then they were actually explaining the opposite of what you explained here. So I request if the government would take action against these kind of parties.
Yeah. In fact, this is raised again with us, in fact, at USP, and also last night, somebody asked us the question that a lot of the political parties, going around making a lot of statements. In fact, somebody said that political parties are going around saying they'll do all these wonderful things. And they said, how do we know that they'll actually do it? What I said is that in Fiji, we don't unfortunately have that level of what I call political party maturity and political maturity. See, if you, for example, were going into an election period in Australia, and if a political party, say, stood up, let's just take our political parties here and position it into Australia. If I think one political party said that they will forgive all the university debts, right, for example. If they said that in Australia, then the culture there is this, they'll have to say, okay, that means it'll cost us $700 million a year. So we will fund the $700 million from here, here, and here. They actually have to account for it. In Fiji, they don't have to. So if you're not in government and you're a political party, I can go and make all sorts of claims. I'll do this, I'll do that for you, don't worry, I'll put a helicopter pad, whatever. People do that. There's one story that I got told was that, I think this is in the election period sometime between 2000 and 2006. So some people in a rural area wanted some road built. So the government of the day brought the tractors and all of that just before elections, parked the tractor there. So people said, oh great, they're going to build the road for us. And then they all went and voted and what have you. After the election, they took the tractors away. So you see, unfortunately, we don't have that level of maturity over here in Fiji. And unfortunately also, I have to say, a lot of the academics, a lot of people in the private sector, they don't actually come out and give objective opinion. If somebody says, I'm going to make everything free, X, Y, Z, somebody should be able to stand up and have that level of maturity to be able to say, no, hang on, this is going to cost you $750 million. How will you fund this? We don't have the level of debate and scrutiny of political parties making their statements. Regarding what they're saying about the debt, I know it's false. And we keep on saying it's false. But they keep on harping on about it. And like I said the other day, I think it was Sodelpa had a meeting at Cunningham Road. And somebody brought me the literature they gave out to the people at that meeting. And at that meeting, they had given out and saying, we'll bring down the price of groceries by 16% because we'll remove STT and ECAL. But STT and ECAL is not charged on groceries. It is an outright lie. So these are the kind of things that's happening. And, as I said that, these gatherings aren't, I'm not here campaigning. But I was asked this question at the USP also by the students. So I said, look, they said, oh, what's your advice? I said, my advice to you is that as individual citizens, you have access to information. You need to go and access the information yourself. You've come here, you've learned something. Like I said, you go and Google this, go to RBF, go to some international website, you'll find exactly the same figures. This is the real debt. I would be very stupid standing here telling you that this is the debt when it actually is not the debt. Ask the other political parties when they come, show us where is Fiji positioned. Last time before the last election, they said, oh, Fiji's debt. One of our people went to some youth meeting. Oh, Fiji's debt is, $2 trillion. Just pull out a figure. Do they know what trillion actually means? Our GDP is not even $11 billion. How can we have $2 trillion debt? So you see, these are the kind of things that's happening. So I urge you to, be sensible about it. Find out the information. Look at the facts on the ground. And you need to think about the future. You need, like I said in the beginning of the talk, you need to have consistency to have a continuation of growth. That's very important. Because when you have consistency, you actually build confidence. If we say that these are the rules, in the same way we're saying to the sugarcane farmer, we'll pay you this much money for the next 3 years, that gives them a level of confidence. Despite what, they will get that. Same thing we are saying, look, I can come here and say to you, okay, look, we'll forgive everybody's debt at university. Right? But that will be irresponsible of me, and in fact financially it's not responsible. But also morally it's not responsible. Because if we do that for 1 year, what about the kids coming back? In Vunimono, there are high schools, the principal will tell you. There are high schools in Fiji that have holes in their ceiling, the floor is rotten. They have never seen a computer. They don't even have a science lab. But you see, the political parties, they're not talking about high schools. They're only targeting universities. Why? Because university students vote. High school students don't vote. So we are more concerned about overall the education sector. We want those kids to have computer labs. We're doing a lot of things as we made announcements about we're changing the curriculum. We're working with the Australians to do an analysis gap. We're changing, for example, things like with maths. At the moment, there's only one math subject taught. Everybody's to learn algebra, algorithms, and whatever it is. But there are some kids who don't want to learn pure maths. We have to have two streams of maths. So those are the kind of things we are looking at. So as far as what political parties are doing, there's no law against it as such, but you would think that morally it's a wrong thing to do, ethically it's a wrong thing to do. But we ask you to be more discerning. Thanks.
A really splendid and commendable budget, sir. And I must also thank the team for bringing to our doorsteps this presentation. I'll come back to the duty on items, the reduction of duty on items. What we have seen, some traders were very quick to raise the price of items soon after the announcement of the budget, whereas certain items, even up till today, after the beginning of this month, they are still the same. For example, these fruits, you are saying the duty reduction is there. Would you enlighten us on what dates, what are the actual dates that these traders should be reducing the prices or increasing the prices on different items? And while talking to one of these managers of one of these traders, about the reduction of the prices of the fruits in the supermarket, what he was telling me is that this Commerce Commission is not giving us the price or whatever, like it's playing a blame game or whatever. So is it that it is on the part of the Commerce Commission or the government, or is it that these traders are notorious that up till today the price of these fruits have not come down? Thank you.
No, essentially the way the law works is that when the budget is delivered, anything to do with tariff increase or reduction, the new tariff rate becomes effective from midnight of that night. So we deliver the budget, for example, at 7 p.m. The moment the announcement is made, from midnight, the new duties come into effect. Even though the law of that may be passed, but the law provides for that, because of course, if it does not come into effect at midnight, then people will play around with the system. But despite that, people still play with the system, as you know. Now, we have seen this issue before. This is why we announced in the previous budgets, I think it was the last budget, we announced that we're setting up we gave the Commerce Commission a lot more powers now to go behind and look at, for example, people like wholesalers. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes when we reduce duty of things, the people who are importing it, they don't pass the benefit on to the consumer. The reason why we reduce the duty is so that you pay less when you go and buy. A lot of the times people don't actually pass on that benefit. So we've given the Commerce Commission more powers. Shiri's has got a team under him, it's now called the Economic Intelligence Unit. She's hired some people, so they've obviously done some analysis. So they will work together with the Commerce Commission to ensure that the people who are supposed to reduce the duty actually have reduced the duty. So for them to say to you that they're waiting for Commerce Commission is wrong. That's not the truth. When the duty is reduced, the duty is reduced. The gentleman sitting behind you is from Fiji Revenue Customs Services. He'll tell you the same thing. So you see, a lot of the businesses don't actually pass on that benefit. And that's why we set up the Economic Intelligence Unit, and that's why we've given more powers to the Commerce Commission to be able to enforce that. So they'll be going around in the next few weeks to see whether those actually reduction in duties have been passed on or not to the consumers. And they now have the ability to charge businesses if they can't show a good cause as to why the prices have not come down for those things.
So I want to say thank you for the detailed presentation that was done today. I want to thank you and your team for this roadshow experience that the people of Fiji are having it. My issue this evening is on TALS, education. I believe you have set aside a lot of money, a lot of funds for education. One of the issues is that a lot of students in Fiji, when they miss the mark, the Form 7 mark to get into TELS, they miss it altogether. Do they have a second chance if they perform well another time? And in that same note, sir, I'm thinking in line of the aviation students when they have a criteria for getting TELS for aviation students. A lot of students, they do not get that criteria because the number is limited. But they do go ahead and enroll themselves and as private students. Do you have allocation or second chances for these students who perform so well but needed funds to complete the training? Because every year you have a new set of students. I'm thinking of the students that are still trying to complete, but because of the funds, they have to wait when there is allocation for TELS. And as for TELS, we know that it's not free education because at the end of everything, they need to pay back. So I do not know why there is no policy in TELS for existing students. I'm just speaking out of my mind.
Sure. No, I mean, university education is actually, you say it's not free. Yes, it's not free because you have to pay. Unless it is free if you are a topper. If you're a topper, if you're a national topper, you don't pay a single cent back. So those people who meet the criteria of being a national topper, those 970, where is it? 970, these 970, if your child falls within that, they don't pay a single cent back because we pay for it because they've reached very high marks and they study in the area that we want them to study. Most of the toppers are skewed towards science subjects. About 70 to 80% are in those areas because there's a shortage of people in those areas. For the TELS, regarding if you're asking specifically on people who do pilot training, if they don't get accepted in TELS, they don't qualify for TELS, and they go off and do it on their own, no, we don't have a provision for that. The pilot training is the most expensive in Fiji. As you probably know, it's over $100,000. And this is why we've got that category over here, 100,000 plus. We have a agreement with Fiji Airways. So some years, for example, we may have 10 positions. Others we have 15. It depending on Fiji Airways' ability to intake pilots, to take in pilots. Because it's a very expensive course. A lot of students who leave year 13 want to become a pilot. Now, assuming we suddenly have 2,000 students wanting to become a pilot, and we pay for that. You can imagine the fee that's going to be 2,000 multiplied by, say, $150,000. That's a lot of money. Now, out of the 2,000, if Fiji Airways tells us they can only hire 10 people or 10 pilots at the end of the training, then what will the other balance of the 2,000 do? They have to pay back the loan, plus it's put a huge pressure on our budget. Because we're setting aside all this money, there may be students who want to do, say, BA in forestry, marine science, accounting, whatever the case may be, they could actually lose out. So this is why the whole pilot course is limited based on what Fiji Airways tells us. Now, the other thing about pilots is, I may want to become a pilot, I may be good, for example, in maths or physics or whatever it is that's required for me to become a pilot, but my eyesight may not be good. Or I may be terrible in the cockpit. They put a fire around you. Can you handle the stress when you're in a cockpit? Those sorts of things also are needed to be taken into account before we actually offer the position. There's a pilot sitting behind you, I think. No. There's one pilot there. There's a pilot there. So, I mean, he knows those things. So, we obviously need to be, aware of that, and because of limited funds, that's why we have that particular position. I've had 2 days ago, I had somebody stopping me saying, my son did a particular course before TELS started in 2013, 2012. And because he's not paid the fees for that year, can you people pay for that? Otherwise, they won't give him his graduation certificate. We can't. Because I did it for him, I'll have to do it for everybody else. And we don't know what the total cost will be. This way we know exactly how much it will be, because we know how many students are coming out of high school. And we do our extrapolation based on that. So you see, the thing about budgets is that when you actually do these calculations, you have to have at least some general idea as to what your overall cost will be. So to answer your question, unfortunately, no, we won't be able to do that.
As you were saying in wheat and rice and all these farms, I would like to suggest the government, because at the moment the poor farmers having a problem getting the land plowed, and if the government can provide tractors, so more land can be plowed and planted. And I have noticed in the agriculture sector and the agriculture officers, there are very less officers who are able to assist the farmers. And if we can have more agricultural officers instead of getting more armies and policemen to follow up, get the tractors to plow the land, farm it, do the farming, plant the crop, and then you see that the crops are being sold, and then the thing will be, we'll be having less, import. Because at the moment you see everybody, Indo-Fijians or Tokibais and everybody, they're depending on rice and flour, which is very wrong. If we try and have more cassava, kumala and all these kind of things, that will reduce our import. And I'll be very grateful, if this thing can be put into force, and then put more agricultural officers, get more tractors, and get the farmers to get a free plowing done instead of paying 50-50.
Okay, thank you. We have, if you turn to the budget on head 30, crop extension, which is on page 180 and 181, we've actually allocated $1.5 million for farm mechanization. This is for crops, not for sugarcane, but crops. So we hope to have that actually more mechanization done through the extension department. You're right about making sure that we have more field officers, etc. But we also need more police officers. A lot of people also complain about the fact we don't have enough police officers. So we will do that. We're carrying out a major restructure of the Fiji police force. It will cost us about $125 million over the next 5 years. And that's to modernize the police force. Apart from the vehicles and all of that, we're also regularizing the special constable into full-time constables. But you're right, there's a lot more focus that needs to be put on agriculture. We agree with you in terms of mechanization. This is why we made allocation of $1.5 million. And you'll see there'll be a few changes in that respect. Thank you. There's somebody over here.
Thank you, and your team, sir. I have a general question on TELS again. If a university student who has completed a health program under TELS, and if he decides to pay off the loan with TELS, is there any policy for him to take another loan for a program like MBBS, which is very important for the nation? Is there any policy in the budget?
We have, like I pointed out over here, we have postgraduate scholarships that we are giving. If they're not working as a civil servant, if they are in the private sector, you can see over here we've got priority areas: teacher training, tourism and agriculture, fisheries and forests for postgraduate studies. And this will also be for people outside the civil service. So it's split, 20 awards for masters for civil servants and 20 for those in the private sector. But the focus is these areas: teacher training, tourism, agriculture, fisheries and forestry, in those areas. MBA really is an MBA. There are a lot of people who do MBAs. Some MBA courses aren't that good also. So it depends. We have limited resources. We can't be funding everybody's postgraduate studies. MBBS. Oh, MBBS. Oh, sorry, MBBS, we've got here 30 places for graduates to get entry into MBBS. So, for example, if your son or daughter has done a science degree, or they've done pharmacy, so if they want to, after that, get into an MBBS course, they can, because we've got 30 places for what we call graduates. They can get into that. So that's available too. Of course, there's a lot of competition, so the best ones will get in. And we are obviously going to fund that as part of TELS, because there is a shortage of doctors. So we are encouraging people who are graduates of other degrees, in particular related degrees. You know, so if you've done science, pharmacy, etc., then you can get into MBBS program. Sorry, I thought you said MBBS, MBS. What? MBA, sorry. Not MBBS, sorry. There's a gentleman here, over here. Please get a mic for him.
Thank you, sir. My question, other political parties are saying that the country is in debt. What is the future of the young people? Will Fijians be paying through tax or other ways? And my second question is...
So just say the first question again.
Other political parties are saying that the country is in debt. What is the future of the young people? Will Fijians be paying through tax?
Paying what through tax? Everybody's...
Debt of Fiji.
The debt of Fiji. Oh, okay.
And my second question is, I'm a taxi driver, spare parts, fuel has increased. Are there any benefits or concession on the tires or spare parts? The price can go down, so it will be easy for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The first question actually doesn't make sense. As I explained to you, I don't know how old you are, but you are paying for the debt or incurred by the Rambuka government. Right? So it's not you incurring the debt. See, that's a stupid comment to make, with due respect to you. Because, you see, that's a political party speak. They're saying, oh, these people have accumulated debt. Your children will have to pay for the debt. It's the government that pays the debt. We are paying the debt of... Where's the debt, Shiri? Here. There was $2.8 billion debt incurred by the previous governments. Did anybody ask the question that then? Is the young people going to pay the debt? Why are you asking that question now? Is this a political party ploy? I mean, I don't know who sent you that question on the phone. But the fact of the matter is that that is a debt incurred by previous governments. So it's a gimmick to say that. We are paying the debt of other governments. How are we paying the debt? We pay taxes. But we've reduced income tax. We have not increased income tax. Before, when we were appointed in 2007, if you earned $8,600 or more, you paid taxes. Then we said, okay, if you earn $16,000 or more, then you pay tax. We double the threshold. Today, if you earn less than $30,000, you don't pay any tax. But we're still paying the debt. Are those people paying for the debt? You see, it doesn't make sense. So the reality is that debt is is a reality for any government. The question I want to say to people, or I want to ask people, we're building a 4-lane road from this bridge all the way to Suva now. It's a 4-lane road. Will the future generations have to build a 4-lane road? No. We are building it now. And you would know that if you buy something today, you'll pay far less than if you bought it 10 years' time, in 20 years' time. Price would go up by then. The same way your grandparents say, "Arey, hamar time pe itna cheap mein ban jata raha." Right? 50 years ago, to build a house cost less. Today it's more expensive. If you're putting a 4-lane road now, it's cheaper to build it now. Your future generations don't have to build it. So they don't have to incur their debt. We are spending $50 million in electrifying people in Fiji. People in Raketi and now have got electricity. People in various parts of Western Division got electricity. Will the future generations have to build electricity for them? No. We've already done it. It's cheaper to do it now. Look at it that way. You've got a very negative perception of debt. You see, it's a silly thing to say, we're doing debt, will the children pay for it? Everybody pays for debt. No, it doesn't come out of your pocket, it comes out from government. It's how government manages funds. I've heard some political parties say, oh yeah, they're giving this $1,000, it's your money, enjoy it. But which other government gave $1,000? Which other government made free education? Which other government said, you go to school without paying any school fees? No other government. That's a fact. I don't know if you have children. If you have children, they don't pay school fees. I've had so many people say to me, I wish in my time they had free education, I would have finished high school. I've had so many women say to me that in my time I wish they had free education because I was not able to finish high school because we were 5 or 7 brothers and sisters. So my father said, look, the girls can stay at home because I can only afford to educate the sons because the girls will get married and go away in any case. That's the thinking. It's a reality. It's a reality. But now there are more girls. I've got the recent statistics. There are more girls in high school than boys. Yesterday I was at Rishikul High School. For the first time in Rishikul High School history, have they got a female principal? Open merit recruitment system. Before you would not get that. Large school must have a guy there. But now we have open, transparent system. She's been appointed. So you've got to look at things from that perspective. Regarding duty on spare parts, we reduced duty significantly. Last year, I can't remember, Shiri. How? It dropped from 15% to 5%, the duty on spare parts. Now, there is no licensing provision for spare parts. So anybody can bring in spare parts. And the problem we have, of course, is that some people, even though we've reduced the duty, they still charge the same amount. That's the problem. So again, you know, it's very tough work, to be frank with you. It's very tough work. We have to have the Commerce Commission, Fiji Revenue Customs Services, Shiri's group, they have to go around, gather intelligence, look at the pricing before we made the announcement, look at the pricing now, look at the foreign currency rates, whether rates have changed or not, because sometimes they can say, oh, I could not bring down the price because the Japanese yen has gone up in value. So that's why I have to pay more, so therefore the price remains the same. So all of that is being done. But we've reduced the duty. But there's nothing stopping people, of course. It's a difficult thing to do for anybody to set up a spare parts shop. But that's what we've done. As you know, new tires. A new tire used to be 32% duty. We brought it down to 5%. Because we don't want people to buy second-hand tires. Causes accidents. So new tires is now 5%. One of the things that of course is lacking in Fiji is that we don't have enough competition. When you have a lot of businesses competing, then you have, you know, good pricing. In the same way, when you're only at Vodafone, the cost of a phone call, unit cost was 99 cents a unit. As soon as Digicel came into the market, you now 5 up, 7 up, 10 up, free phone calls this many hours. Text messages 5 cents, before it used to be 50 cents. The average cost at peak period now for mobile phone is 24 cents a unit. Only a few years ago it used to be 99 cents a unit. So when you have competition, it's good. We need a lot more competition, but unfortunately some businesses also get together. So, daam nahi kharab karna. Yeah, that's what they say. Don't spoil the price. Don't spoil the price. So 4 or 5 of them get together and say, let's keep it at this price. So we need to be able to get information from you also. We have a lot of people come and complain, but when you ask them to look, can you give us a formal complaint? How will we change the system if we don't come forward and tell us? Give us the intelligence. Then we can change things. Yep.
One question, the Honorable Minister. I am a farmer. I agree with the gentleman who was said regarding the farming things in our central division here. Thank you for telling us that you improved the mechanism of the farming. At the moment we got only about 4 tractors there looking after 3 provinces here. Right. Coming to the price of I'm a Tausala Dao farmer. The price of Tausala is very inconsistent. Can the government do something to help us subsidize the price of the dal so that it can give us incentive to do more farming and get people to work for us rather than coming from the rural areas to the urban areas. You see, in 2017 census, there are more than 50% of the people in the urban areas. That's why I'm making a lot of problem here in the urban areas. Why can't you give us something, incentive, to the rural people, do farming, get the people employed, and let the people stay in their places? Thank you.
You know, what you're actually talking about is the commodity price, Chef Dallo. And so, for example, what we've done with the sugarcane, you know, they've got a stabilization fund of $83 a ton. So what the gentleman is saying is that, can we have a consistent price for Dallo? So, Dallo and other things become slightly complicated. Because sugarcane, you have only one buyer. You have only one mill. Because if I grow sugarcane, it's not like I can go and sell it to somebody who comes along through my farm, so I can sell it to him. I can't. I must only supply my cane to FSC, because they're the miller. So it's one of those areas where, or it's one of those commodities where there are multiplicity of buyers, as you would know. So you have, you know, these middlemen that come along. They would buy from you, or you have something like Ben's Trading. Because they have a particular connection and being able to export it offshore, you kind of dependent on them for the pricing.
That's a real issue.
That's my main question now, if the government can come on board and help us in that way. Because, you know, Honorable Minister, way back in 2010 years ago, the price of tau saladal was $2.30, $2.50 a kg. Now, one time it came back to $1.10. And the price of the fertilizer, the insect weed killers and all these things, it's gone up. You know, that's why it's killing us. That's why we are here, I'm here, to ask the government, your government, can you subsidize and tell something, get a price at that level. Thank you, sir.
No, I'm trying to highlight to you the challenges, because, you know, I can say, yeah, don't worry, we'll subsidize. I don't want to do that. Because the dollar market, like some of the other commodities, like even things like cassava and various other commodities we actually export, is a bit more complex. So we actually, I mean, the reason why I'm saying all of this to you, and I know the problem, is because we actually have been talking about it, as to how do we solve the problem. See, the other thing is about the dallo. There's not much value adding that's going on with dallo. You basically get the dallo, you clean it, and you export it. So we don't, for example, have a large-scale dallo flour production. We do have some dallo that's being bought now for dallo chips that FMF makes. So we need to get more into that space. But that's something we are considering. We are looking at it very carefully, not just in dallo, but a couple other products. And the other thing also is that we are mindful of the fact that a lot of middlemen actually rip farmers off. They do that. You know, one of the announcements, for example, we made in the budget is about setting up of cooling plants up in Singatoka and Ba. We're looking at that. Because, you know, the same problem that you have. If you go to Singatoka Valley, when a farmer who may be, say, growing long beans or cabbage, when it's time for him to harvest, he harvests it. He can get a sack full of cabbage. And because he's got no truck, he's got no ability to take it down to the market or bring it to Suva, the middleman comes along in his truck and he says to him, I'll pay you $5 for a sack of long beans. Then he comes and sells the long beans in the market at $3 a bundle. But he's bought the entire sack for $5 or $10. That's what happens. So if we have, say, cooling systems, and the farmer knows that even if he can negotiate, so even if he does not sell it to him that day, his crop is not going to rot. So we're looking at that. I'm sure of that. Okay, Naka.
The Honorable Minister and Sampulwina. I just want to acknowledge the presentation this afternoon, this evening. And I'm a school head teacher from Naitasiri. This is my 4th year as a head teacher, and I've been teaching in primary school level, and this is my 25th year of teaching. I've been teaching in the Outer Islands, and I've been seeing my parents all struggling. And today, I knew that I'm fortunate to raise things concerning my parents. In Naitasiri, if you want to raise something on Monday, they said they will not come because that is their day to prepare the bananas. And when I see the budget consultation on agriculture, it's only on sugarcane, sorry. And my concern and my question is, what's your advice on bananas and also the cocoa from the people from Wenimbuka? And in the Outer Islands, on the fisheries department, the fishing. Most of them, the parents, they are struggling on fishes. And what is your advice also on fisheries? And secondly, concerning the revolution on digital revolution. Since your government is, our government has allowed the free internet on USP and FNU as part of USP. I'm really fortunate to enjoy that as well. But my concern is, what about our government schools? Is there any advice on TCS, QS, RKS, and SILA, and other government schools? And lastly, sir, all these 25 years, today, I knew that there are scholarships for us teachers. Thank you very much. And I'm interested in that. And to tell you, sir, the truth, I've been one of the teachers. We've been collecting regret letters, starting from the large to the medium and to the small. Maybe because I only have a diploma. And I do hope that if I and some of my friends could apply for that, we will be considered as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. If I can very quickly talk to you about this one here, for the teachers. As we said, we've got 30 awards for teachers holding a diploma to upgrade to bachelor's degree. And it's in the following fields to be upgraded, if you want to upgrade. It's in maths and physics, language and literature, which is English, information technology, industrial arts, special education and early childhood education. Because as you would know, in the teaching system, there's a shortage of people in those areas. There's dearth of people in that areas. But that's the focus. It does not mean that it will forever remain only confined to those subject areas. At the moment, there's a shortage of people in those areas. So, it could be that after 3-4 years, there'll be shortage in other areas. So we can then change that focus. In the same way with toppers. At the moment with toppers, nearly 70 to 80% of all the toppers courses we give, or we fund, is for science-based subjects. Marine scientists, foresters, engineers, nurses, town planners, we don't have town planning degrees here, but in those areas that we have, diplomas in those areas, because there's shortage of people, of engineers. So that's a huge focus for us. In the same way with teachers. So yes, you can apply if you're interested in those areas. Of course, there'll be a lot of competition. May the best person get those awards. Similarly, of course, for the teachers too, if you already have a degree, then you can also get a postgraduate degree, like a master's, or even PhD. And again, in those areas, maths, physics, language and English literature, currently anyway, that's the target areas. Now, regarding the agriculture sector, Please don't be mistaken, I've only highlighted sugar. But there's an entire Ministry of Agriculture that has nothing to do with sugar. And it has a total budget spend of $96 million. And if you read this book, which you can get online, you'll, for example, see that we have crop extension. It has to do with specific areas of agriculture. There's a lot of allocation made for that. So, whether it's vanilla, or whether it's cocoa, all those areas, they're highlighted. And I refer you to, I urge you to go and look at head 30 of the Ministry of Agriculture spend, where we've got specific allocations for different areas, right from potatoes and the whole lot, cocoa, as we've said in various other areas, even cattle, even piggery, all those areas, there's funding available for that. So it's not been missed out. There's one other point you made that I forgot about. There's a third point.
On the government schools.
Oh yes. No, we are actually putting the, we're building capacity in high schools. We're going to do it everywhere. But at the moment, the reason why we focus on FNU is because obviously at university level is more of a need to get universities connected to, internet, because they do a lot of research. And the reason why we connected FNU, because FNU completely depends on government funding. It's like it's a government university when you think about it. You know how you say government schools, like QVS, RKS, Natambua, ACS, SILA, Lambasa College, they're all government funded schools, 100%. So we're giving priority to government university of FNU. And so that's why we've done that, but slowly we'll be doing all the other schools also. Okay.
Is regarding the rural local authority. What actually happened, we staying in the rural local areas, and if you want to start one business in rural areas, what actually happened when we come for the license, we never get the license. What happens, because they say that area is for residential only, not for the business purpose. That's why most of the time these people is urban drift is taking place.
What was the time, sorry?
The urban drift, the people from rural,
okay.
they used to come to the town areas, because when they can't get a place to do their work in their own area, then they have to move up. Actually, I got approved with me. We have done it few times. If it's not only my Bhusia or the Budi area, I have seen in most of these areas. Because town, Rural Local Authority Act is too old. Our constitutions give us right for everything. But our act look like the colonial days act.
It is.
Now.
But we just changed it.
Yeah, but so far what we have just recently changed, but before we just applied,
I know.
last year,
Yeah.
and we have given answer that you are making too much noise in your rural areas.
Yeah.
But if we are making noise, what about the area Batuanga, Nosoria, Monoda, residential, school, and the industrial are side by side? There's nothing problem, no problem at all. What are the problem with us in the rural areas?
No, so this is why, as announced in the budget, as of Wednesday, rural local authority as we knew it, rural local authority as you know it has now changed. So rural local authority used to sit within the Ministry of Health. So now this has been taken out from Ministry of Health. Only the health related matters will remain with Ministry of Health. And the other non-health related matters have now gone to Ministry of Local Government. And the Ministry of Local Government will now administer the non-health issues in the rural areas through the nearest municipal councils. So that work is now in progress. The law is just coming into effect on Wednesday. So we'll give it a few more weeks, and then you'll find that a lot of things will change. So they have a more of a business approach to rural local matters. So that's what we have done. And I completely agree with you. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we changed it. But there seems to be a mindset, because a lot of the people, in fact, who are making decisions about rural local matters, in fact, did not have the know-how. They were more inclined towards health, as opposed to, rural businesses and what have you. But you'll see some changes in that respect too. Thanks.
I'm talking about the historic town, Nostori bus stand. There's no backup power, and on 2/16 we have a meeting with the former acting CEO, and Jiten was the secretary, He didn't give us the minutes. Whenever I asked him, he doesn't know nothing. So where can you go? See, any meeting happens, so there should be a minute given to us. And whenever I go to him, and in 2017, he was giving me a notice to vacate the shop in the Missouri bus stand without any problem. Mr. Jiten Singh is a market and the bus stand manager.
Can I ask that we take this offline, because it's obviously something not
I know.
within the purview of the budget.
I know.
You can either write to me, drop me an email, and give me your details. I mean, because if you say this to me verbally, it won't make sense. But if you can actually send me an email, my email address is well known. My staff will give you. Okay, so you can give it to me. That'll be great. Thank you. The gentleman there at the door.
Thank you, sir. I just like to ask a questions in regards to those people who living in those squatter settlements. I'm staying in the Sorry area, and place where we're staying, there has been surrounded around of people who are staying, making squatters, and we have been raising issues to the relevant authorities for quite some time, and there have been promises made that they will be suddenly developing all those areas, but nothing has been happened in regards to that. I also read a Fiji focus paper where it was said that there have been location made for the development of those people who are staying there. But it's almost 4 years now and nothing has happened about it. Any answers on that, sir?
Oh, I don't know what area you're talking about. But if you again gave me information, then I can find out and later on give you the information.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presence here tonight. As I said, that you can go to the, I really urge you to go to the website. You'll get a lot more information there regarding the presentation. All of these copies you can get. This is a website you can get all the information from. And we look forward to your input, of course. Just for information, tomorrow morning we are at in Suva, at JJ's, at what time? At 11 a.m. So if you want to have a second bite at the cherry, you can come there too, in Suva. And then on Monday we are at Rampur College, right? In the evening. And then we go on where? Then from Rampur then we go to FNU Sambula, FNU Nasina, then we go to the west. Okay, so one last question.
Any email can we use to raise a few more issues?
Are you on my email address?
No.
Sorry? Well, you want the email address?
Yes, the email address.
Sure, we can give you an email address.
Thank you.
My staff are there at the back and they'll give it to you. Yeah? Yeah, what is it? It's economy information at economy.gov.fj. The staff at the back will give it to you. Okay? Okay, thank you very much and have a good evening. Minaka, thanks.